What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, look, today we're going to talk about my second round NBA predictions for the 2026 playoffs, right? Now, real quick, because I'm going to talk about my power rankings, I'm going to talk about my predictions. But before we do all that, just remember that I do drop my episodes Monday through Friday around 11 o'clock. So make sure you stay tuned. I try to talk about a few things, sports related, of course, basketball centered if you peep the title. But that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and get it started off with these here power rankings for the playoffs after the first round, right? So this is prior till round two, I'm sorry. So right now, in order, I have the Thunder, the Spurs, the Knicks, the 76ers, the Pistons, the Wolves, the Cavs, and my Lakers last. That's tough. So from 1 through 8, those are the remaining teams. Those are my playoff power rankings. Again, Thunder, that's a no-brainer. The Spurs, even though if you want to discredit the Portland Trailblazers a little bit, their record still showed, hey, they did their thing. They put belt to tail, right? The Knicks, Cat has been pretty dominant. Can't hold you. Like, he's been pretty decent. It's not like taking over, but he's doing his part in spades as well as Jalen Brunson, despite Jalen Brunson being a cone on defense. 76ers, Joel Embiid looks healthy finally. The Pistons, listen, we know who Cade is, but Tobias Harris is emerging somewhat, despite Jalen Duren not being able to play. The Wolves, I would have them higher, but currently they have no Anthony Edwards. He was injured during the first round against the Nuggets, so we got to wait to see what happens with that. The Cavs, they have a healthier lineup than my Lakers, so they technically should be last. But again, with my Lakers having no Luka Doncic, we may dip just a smidge. But again, if we're talking about power rankings, y'all hear my power rankings. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the remaining games and expectations, or remaining series and expectations. Let's start off with my Lakers, right? Going up against the Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this right now. This kind of pains me. I'm thinking this goes at best 4-1. If it goes 4-2, stellar. But I think this goes 5 games, okay? Like, I really think this is going to be BTA. That stands for belt to air. You know what I mean? During the regular season, the Thunder were actually 4-0 versus us. Matter of fact, our closest game was 119-110. We still lost, but that was the closest game, right? There was no SGA during that game, and we were actually healthy. Luka, Austin Reeves, and Braun played. And that was our closest game. That was the only game where we actually got over 100 points, by the way. So my biggest question is, will Marcus Smart slow down SGA? Not stop him, because I don't know if there's a player yet that's going to stop him. But can we slow him down? We got to wait to see. And then also, and this one kind of sounds crazy, will Braun really matter this series? I know, again, I'm not the biggest Braun fan, but damn, even that sounds a little weird to me. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard what I've told y'all. The Thunder have been beating our behinds for the last couple seasons now. Matter of fact, we did better against the OKC Thunder with Anthony Davis. We were 8-3. Granted, it was a different OKC team, but still, we did better than we have with Luka. We're 1-6 over the regular season. That's tough. So again, ladies and gentlemen, even though the regular season is different than playoffs, it's a little tougher in playoffs, the Thunder are built for tough right now. We're not. So I expect the Thunder to beat us 4-1. But let's move on down. Because who knows? Maybe my Lakers will surprise us, right? But let's talk about the other teams, because we're going to stay with the West right now, but y'all know how I'm thinking about the Thunder and Lakers. Spurs versus Wolves. I'm thinking this goes 6 games, right? 4-2 favoring the Spurs. And look, he not healthy, right? They lost Dante DiVincenzo. Ayo Dosunmu, like, he missed the game during this Nuggets series. I think the last game, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So will they get their 3 guards back? We already know Dante's gone with, a torn Achilles? So he's done for the season. Possibly going to be missing all of next season, too. So we got to see if Ant can come back, which, according to reports, they're thinking he's going to be back after a week. So maybe game 3, game 4, maybe. But let's say if the Spurs are up 3-0, right? If he comes back game 4 and they're down 3-0. Wolves might lose that one. Not going to hold you. Could the Wolves sneak in 2 games? Sure. Like, their best method to win this is to extend the series as best as they can because they need Anthony Edwards to come back, shake off the rust, and then be able to be his dominant self. If that can happen, then I can see the Wolves winning this. But that time period that Anthony Edwards comes back is going to be a little tricky. Also, Victor Wembanyama, can he dominate Rudy Gobert? And hear me out. I know a lot of y'all are saying that's a no-brainer, but if you look at how Gobert defended against Nikola Jokic wasn't as efficient as he has been in recent years. Matter of fact, he did pretty stellar against my Lakers with Anthony Davis. Rudy Gobert did a better job. So maybe Rudy Gobert is not the defensive slouch that people are trying to make him out to be, even though he's a 4-time depoy, right? Like, Rudy Gobert might be able to stay in front of Wemby or at least make it tougher. He's stronger than Wemby, so that's a valuable effort right there for for Gobert. Being stronger, even though, yes, Wemby is more mobile probably, but using Gobert's strength, I think that does help out. And on top of that, too, he can contest Wemby as well. So can Wemby actually dominate Gobert? That's what we're going to wait to see. The Spurs youth, will it outshadow their slight experience? Because remember, this is the first time that they've really been into the playoffs in quite some time. I think 2019 was the last time. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we got to see how this youth does. Okay, they lost a game during the Portland Trailblazers, which is what I needed them to do, but they're trying to get experience. So if their experience or lack thereof won't be hyped up, then I expect them to win this series for sure. And also, they got a player like De'Aaron Fox, who is a 2-time All-Star, Clutch Player of the Year award recipient. Like, the buddy can get a bucket. Okay, so I got to see what Fox does. All right, but again, the Wolves, they hinge on Anthony Edwards' return. Because, yes, we know what Julius Randle is, a quality player. Jaden McDaniels is turning into a quality player, making me rethink some things. But we need to see how Anthony Edwards does coming back. And if the Spurs are down by the time Anthony Edwards comes back, that's just tough. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, could it happen? Sure, but I'm not expecting that to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard my predictions for the West. Let's move on down to the East, shall we? So we got here the Pistons versus the Cavs. I'm thinking Pistons win that in 6. 4-2 favoring the Pistons, right? Who's going to guard Cade Cunningham? Will it be Evan Mobley? I think that might be a problem. I don't know if they're going to have anybody really that can guard Evan Mobley. And on the flip side, right, who's going to go off or who's going to guard Donovan Mitchell? Well, they actually have some players who can guard Donovan Mitchell respectfully. Asar Thompson, pretty solid defender. So again, and that's just one. Like, they have other players to throw at Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs don't have other players to really throw at Cade. They might have somebody 6'7", 6'8", not really going to do well against Cade. So I'm expecting Cade to have a dominant series. But can Duran actually show up? You got Jared Allen to go up against. You should be able to beat Jared Allen, respectfully. Wendell Carter Jr. was more so your size and stature. Jared Allen about 6'9". Not your stature, a little slimmer. So again, I'm expecting to see Jalen Duren show up for the Pistons. Also, can Evan Mobley outduel someone like a Tobias Harris? Because, well, Toby's been going off in the first round. He went off in the first round. Can he do the same thing versus Evan Mobley? If that happens, Cavs are losing possibly even in 5. But again, if Evan Mobley can be the best player on the Cavs actually have a chance at winning this. Because I don't believe in Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a shaky star. I've been saying that for years now. Matter of fact, one of my friends even said he agrees with me now. So again, if we see that happen, I think we're going to be able to make something shake. But again, I lean the Pistons. The only thing that makes me worry is the Game 7 impact. Because remember, the Pistons did have to fight back against the Magic. They went to Game 7. Will that start to wane on them a little bit? So the quicker this series goes, I do expect it to favor the Pistons. But again, the Cavs do have the possibility of end up beating the Pistons as well. So we'll wait to see what happens. But again, y'all heard me. I think that goes 6. 76ers versus Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a big duo coming up against one another. For starters, I got 76ers going the distance, beating the Knicks in 7. Yep, that's right. They're going to another Game 7. Now, Embiid, Maxey versus Cat and Brunson. Who wins that matchup? Like, this is their first playoff between Embiid and Cat. In the regular season, it favors Joel Embiid 9-5. Now, keep in mind, though, Cat's teams have not been as good, so maybe that factors in too. Embiid usually gets the free throw advantage. Will that happen still in the playoffs? He gets fouled a decent amount of times. Will he continue to go to the free throw line? But Cat has also been playmaking pretty well. He can stretch the floor out. He can get quality rebounds. Will that hold up versus the 76ers? And will Embiid continue to be healthy? Those are the two storylines for me to follow. But Brunson versus Maxey. Now, keep in mind, Brunson has gotten the better of Maxey, even though maybe we can say that Brunson's teams have been better than Maxey's as well, too. But in the playoffs, Brunson did win 4-2. So I think there's a chip on Maxey's shoulder. And keep in mind, Maxey did his thing against the Celtics for the 76ers. So who wins this? I think we're talking about two potential top 5 point guards in the NBA. I think Brunson may be 4, Maxey could be 5 or 6, or maybe Brunson's 5 and Maxey's 6. We're going to figure out who's the top 5 guard, because this is going to be that 5th spot for me personally. But I do like Maxey a little bit over Brunson. Again, offensively, Brunson may be a little bit better than Maxey, maybe. But I'm saying maybe because Maxey's pretty daggone good. But defensively, Maxey can hold his own. Brunson, not as much. So whoever Brunson's going to guard, they need to have a solid series. Like, let's say if they're guarding, if he ends up guarding Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre should dominate. Not dominate like he's going to be the series player of the year, the player of the series, but I need to see Kelly Oubre get like 12 and 8 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, ladies and gentlemen, I need to see whoever's being guarded by Jalen Brunson. They need to have a good series. Also, who has the better wings, ladies and gentlemen? Because they're going to be the X factor. Again, I talked about Kelly Oubre. I talked about Paul George is on the mix. VJ Edgecombe. Y'all gotta play well, because on the Knicks side, they got OG Anunoby, right? They got Mikal Bridges. They have Josh Hart. They have players who are pretty quality. But Paul George should be the best wing on the floor. But OG and Mikal can play up to PG's level of play, especially with PG being the third option. So whoever has the better wing, teams meaning, those are going to be the X factor, as well as who wins coaching, Nick Nurse or Mike Brown. I'm not the biggest fan of either, but if I had to choose between the two, I might favor Nick, because end of day, I think when his team is down, his team is a little hurt, he's been able to help them out more, be more of a nurse, if you will, for his teams than Brown does. Like, what will Brown do for you? Not that much. I don't think he's going to do that much. Am I going to say he's a trash coach? I don't think either of these teams, I don't think either of these coaches are trash. I just don't think they're overly stellar, to be honest. And then this Game 7 impact that I mentioned earlier for the 76ers. Look, they just had a Game 7 against the Celtics. And Joel Embiid looked like he was falling down, took some shots to the knee, had the appendectomy as well. Will the Game 7 impact the 76ers negatively? I asked the 76ers fan, what did he think? He said he felt like the longer the series, the worse chance they have. I understand where you're coming from. Again, I think this goes the distance. I think this goes 7. Could either team win in 6? Yes. But I genuinely believe, and it's slight hope, that they go to 7, because this should be a phenomenal series to watch. Because honestly, whoever wins that one could very easily come out of the East. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does conclude the end of the episode. So again, we talked about the power rankings. I told you of the order 1 through 8. Thunder, Spurs, Knicks, 76ers, Pistons, Wolves, Cavs, Lakers. And then after that, I told you about the series. Thunder versus Lakers, 4-1. Spurs versus Wolves, 4-2. 76ers versus Knicks, 4-3. Pistons versus Cavs, 4-2. I've already told you who I think is going to win as well, too. So it's the first team that I mentioned, actually. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm curious your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below. Who do y'all have for the power rankings for the playoffs? And who do you have winning this series? If you want to throw in something like your X factors too, I'm welcome to hear it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does conclude the end of the episode. So please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. I hope you are all having a good one. Take care.